Another one of my issues is infrastructure. There was an article recently in the Tucson Agenda about the how dangerous Tucson streets are. And if you drive or walk or ride a bike around here, you've probably noticed. It's really difficult. There's so many drivers that are driving too fast. They're tailgating. They're turning left in front of everybody. There's a lot of road rage. I think it's really dangerous for the people who are walking and on bicycles. And so in the Tucson Agenda, they had a map that was created by the Living Streets Alliance, and it showed traffic fatalities in different locations, either related to cars, bicycles, or pedestrians. And so one of the things they talked about in that article was how dangerous wide streets are and fast streets. And I'll add to that equation giant vehicles. And so these things make our streets all more dangerous for pedestrians and cyclists. And so one of the things that they talked about in there was maybe strategies the city could use to slow traffic down or to minimize it, and so they wouldn't be quite so dangerous for pedestrians and cyclists. And so I would like to throw on the table the idea of the Grant Road widening. Right now, Midtown Tucson is just a wasteland, not only with the short-term rentals, but also with the Grant Road widening, which has just been flat for months now with nothing happening. You know, that's slated to be wider. That's slated to have the Michigan Louis. That area is slated to have a whole lot more concrete than the city should be putting down, you know, in 2024. Yes, this was passed like a very long time ago, but I don't think that it suits our current lifestyle. And if you look at the idea of these wide streets are dangerous and more concrete is going to, you know, increase our heat island, maybe we can rethink Grant Road, you know. The other thing I'm concerned about with the Grant Road widening is what sort of businesses are going to be along this giant stretch of concrete going through Midtown and crossing the top of Ward 6. Is it going to look like what's going in on Speedway in Midtown, which I think is atrocious? And so what we have there are, I don't know how many Starbucks, but Starbucks, Dutch Brothers, our beloved local Coffee Times, Dunkin', Cane's, you name it. There's all these little, basically drive-through restaurants along Speedway. So when we widen Grant Road, is it going to look like Speedway in Midtown? Because there again, we have way too much concrete. Those drive-throughs, some people, you know, they're waiting in line for a very long time, or sometimes it's a delivery driver waiting in line for a person to have their coffee delivered, you know. Think about the environmental impact of not just all the driving and the concrete and the waiting in line, but the fact that there's no shade at these places. And so it's a big environmental impact. The other thing that you can think about is, you know, we have crazy traffic, right? On Speedway with each one of those little drive-throughs. You know, it's not like a strip mall or a regular mall. You're not going to 10 stores. You're going in and out of all those little in and outs on Speedway. That creates more traffic. That creates more potential for accidents. And so we need to think about infrastructure. Yes, you know, I'm glad that the Tucson Agenda published that article. I'm also glad to see that map by the Living Streets Alliance, but I'd like to make a pitch for, you know, kind of acting on what's going on in Midtown right now. Another part of infrastructure that's also discussed quite a bit is accessibility. And I would like to make a pitch for better sidewalks, better lighting. We have a lot of senior citizens in Tucson. They're people who are living here and people who are winter guests. And so now, you know, there's a lot of poor lighting. I've known a few friends who've had very bad falls in dark areas. One of my friends fell in a parking garage in Tucson, and they've had serious injuries, you know, to themselves. And so we need a little better lighting so people can get around without stumbling over curbs or you know, stepping in a hole in a parking lot because the parking lot has not been kept up. And so Let's think about bike paths. Yes, I'm all in on bike paths, but let's also think about, wheelchair ramps and sidewalks and some safety lighting when we also think about infrastructure.